Mic check 1 2 1 2. Microphone check 1 1 1.
2 1. Hey guys, thanks for joining us once again. This is part 2 in the What Is Podcast Culture series. I am here with Kamron Waithe, a longtime friend of mine, and the creator, the founder, and co-host of Recess Creative Convos. And we are going to just dive into the ends and stuff of what is podcast culture. So really quickly, Kamron, before we get deep into it, if you had to define what a podcast is, will you take it and give it a definition?
I think because there are like different types of podcasts, but it's just like literally like it's a program with sound, like you're listening to someone, you're listening to something being narrated or being spoken about. It's literally just like listening to audio that's not music,
Right.
basically.
And if you had like to compare podcasting to radio, what did I see like similarities and differences like that?
With radio, it's a lot of I think they're similar in that both of them can have like ads, and they both have talking in it. They both have programs. So like with radio, you get radio programs, so you have them speaking about a certain topic from this time to this time, or this thing from this time to this time. But with podcasting, and while there's music on the radio, you can't have music in podcasts.
Yeah.
You can't, because I have a friend who's a DJ, and he has a podcast where it's like his just his mixes.
Right.
So I mean, they're both extremely similar, but the difference is I think it's one is like live,
Right.
and one technically isn't.
Yeah, because like podcasts are pre-recorded, you know.
Yeah.
And like when you had to think like before you went into the podcast culture, before you even like begin listening to podcasts, how long ago that was?
I think I started listening to podcasts about like 2 years ago.
And like before you got into it, like what would have been like a taboo-ish reason of why you wouldn't want to have gotten into it before that?
I mean there are several reasons why I personally was a little bit hesitant.
Right.
A lot of it had to do with me and like my view on like my own capabilities, being able to talk about a topic that I felt like I didn't necessarily have the wisdom to talk about.
So now you think you know everything then?
No, it's not that that's the thing. It's not that I think I know everything now, but it's that I come to the understanding that I have a unique perspective. You have a unique perspective.
Yeah.
Everyone, that's the one of the most valuable assets we have as human beings, our perspective, our experiences, because we will never experience the same thing the same way.
That's true. Yeah.
So I've come to the understanding that I have something to add regardless of how much I think I know, just because I'm me and I've experienced something.
Yeah, because I think like what podcasting allows you to be is like be an expert in your own world.
Right.
Because you don't necessarily need to know what you're talking about, but like once you build that audience, you know, people want to hear what you have to think about it regardless, you know. Like I used to heavily listen to Brilliant Idiots with Andrew Schultz and Charlemagne, right? And you know, Andrew Schultz is a comedian, and that by no means quantifies him as an expert in any category. But when things happen in current events, you want to listen to them, you know.
Right.
And then there are cases where you could bring experts on the show, you know. But like, it's more about finding an audience, or then if you're a listener, finding a speaker whose voice you value enough to hear depending on the topic. So get into Recess now, right? You guys started earlier this year, right? Or late last year?
Yeah, I think it was early this year, late last year. Either late last year or early this year. I really can't remember. But
and like getting into it, like what was yours and the Andrews aim in getting into podcasting?
So how I guess it kind of started up is is that audio gonna be a problem?
No, I just want to.
You sure?
Yeah.
I can tell it to.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, sure. Okay, cool. When I started Recess was one of the multiple ideas that I had at that moment in time, because I was like, I just need to do something with my life.
Yeah.
So I had the idea to create something for young creatives and young people like me who felt like they didn't want to do the whole doctor, lawyer, engineer thing. When I was going to school, when I was in secondary school, which high school for your views or whatever, I was really conflicted because I didn't like that stuff. Like, I was just like, nah, I can't do this the rest of my life. But I didn't necessarily, I was like privileged and I believe graced with a lot of good mentors in my life who were involved in the creative industry. So I saw that it was a possibility to pursue a creative career and be successful in it. Not a lot of kids don't have that. A lot of young people don't have examples for them directly to see, okay, this is what this is. And there was no one at the time when I was growing up speaking about this is how you do this, or that this is an option, or these are the like cons. Like, there was no one having conversation about that. So I wanted to create a space where young people like me could come and could get value. Hey, okay, this is what the industry is like, or this is what their experience was like, or this is a possibility, I can actually do this. So that was kind of how that came about. And then I was in Houston and I randomly called because I was thinking, I was like, I could do this, but I don't know if I want to do this by myself. So I called my friend Dia. I thought about it and I was like, DeAndre is the perfect person for me to do this with. So I called her and I pitched the idea to her and she was like, I'm in. She was sold. She was like, and we got into that whole sister conversation. But that was kind of how it was formed. The aim was to create a space for young people who felt like they wanted to learn something about the creative industry, or something that they wanted to probably dip their foot in, but they didn't know how. Just to create that space for people to come to gain knowledge and value about being a creative in the Caribbean and a young person in the creative industry.
So I think that the fact that you started and you at least finished the first season, and we're talking about before we came on the show that you're getting ready to start your second season. In my opinion, that is a success, right? But if you had to gauge your expectations into going your first season and the outcomes, right? What would be like some of these stuff you that say like you was aiming to do and you didn't get to do, like the difficulties involved?
Okay. To be honest, I don't know if I could say that there was anything I expected that didn't come to pass, because I had like no expectations. I had no idea what the process would be like, because I had no idea what podcasting is, how the process works. Like, I didn't know how to sign up, I didn't know how to put my stuff anywhere. So honestly, it was really just like on the fly. Like, everything was pretty much just kind of, we had this idea, we don't want to let it go to waste, so let's just make it happen. And it was a lot of run and gun. Like, we were by my friends, we started off at one of my friends' studios, and then he wasn't available, so I had to go by another one of my friends, and then by another one of my friends. And we were like, we called ourselves the Rooming Podcast last season. But again, like I said, I've been graced and privileged with a lot of people in my life who just like wealth of knowledge. So like the person who helped us set up the podcast, he like did basically everything for us. So that process was a lot easier than I anticipated, because I had him. Shout out to Casey. So that was an expectation that I had that was surpassed. So like I expected to have a lot of trouble figuring that out, and I didn't. So that was great. During the season, it was like, because we didn't, we really just didn't know what we were doing. So we didn't plan a lot. So a lot of things went wrong. Like the studios, picking topics, like all that stuff was really just super, not like horribly organized, but just like not as organized as we would have. Obviously now it is. But yeah, I think I really didn't go into it with a lot of expectations. So a lot of it was just learning as I go. Editing audio, that was something new. I like it. Like, I hate editing video. Like, I can't stand editing video. I can't do it at all. DeAndre gets so upset with me. But I really enjoy the audio editing process. So yeah, here's about it.
So like, when you drop your first episode, right, and you compare the fan reaction, the listeners and all that kind of stuff, to what had become your steady reaction by your fourth, fifth video, right? How do you say, like, you know, compare the original, you know, burst to what became like your steady flow?
Oh my goodness, that was something that I learned, definitely. And I mean, I'm accustomed to being involved in creative projects and doing things like in this nature, in this field. So I know, not that this is something that I initially expected, because like I had said, I had no expectations, but I understand that. Like, I understand that people get excited about things when they launch.
Yeah.
But like consistency isn't necessary. It would not reflect necessarily the burst that you get in the initial launch. So obviously the initial launch of the podcast, everybody was super excited about it because it's something new that we're doing. DeAndre and I both have a significant like community around us and a significant following. So
you can say it big and you can say it big.
No, that's not what it is. So there were a lot of people who were excited about it. So when it launched, it was like hype, and then obviously it came down a bit. But during the season, we got a lot of positive feedback, and we have like analytics, so it's something that we check, but we actively last season didn't want to dwell on the analytics, specifically because we wanted to just create for the people who needed it. We can't do that this season because we're trying to get sponsors, so it's gonna change. But there definitely was obviously a drop after the initial episode, but we got consistent feedback from everyone who listened, and it was like not shocking, but it was humbling seeing people being affected positively by what we had to say and the contributions that we were making. So even if the numbers dropped, the fact that people were still being impacted by what we had to say meant more than how many other people listening for like no reason.
So like, first thing that comes to your head, what do you think when you hear support local?
The first thing I think when I hear support local is like, I immediately just think of all the local brands that I think know. Yeah. I'm like, okay, cool. Levi Marcus, Overdose, like Nix and Mix, like the first thing that comes to my mind is like a list of local companies. Which is interesting because support local is a lot more than businesses and brands per se. Like, even like now that I'm thinking about it in the context of this conversation, support local is even like listening to our local podcasts, like checking out our local YouTubers. Like, wow, that was a good question, John.
So then the way I was going with that is that, you know, we have what I like to think of like a comfort mentality in Trinidad.
Very much so.
We are comfortable in what we grew up in as our forms of entertainment and our forms of life of living, you know, and like we are accustomed, you know, if you want to watch something outside of TV, go on YouTube, and that's probably it, you know. Like, I remember there was even a stigma towards Twitter for like a long time, you know, that people only wanted to be on Facebook and that kind of stuff. And now we, as a country, you know, forever later everything. How do you think like we could get podcasting culture to be not necessarily at the forefront, because I'm not sure if that's like possible anytime soon, but like how do you think we could get podcasting more to the front, that, you know, people listen to radio on the way to go to work, but now they would rather wait the extra 2 minutes home to download the podcast on their phone and then carry it when they go to work? How do you feel we can get podcasting into that area of being one of the main mediums of content consumption?
I think it takes people taking their projects seriously. And because
that's good talk though. That's good talk.
I strongly believe that once you commit to doing something at a certain standard consistently, I'm like a flighty kind of girl. I believe that those things are rewarded via like the universe or God or whoever you decide to believe in your life. I think that consistency is key. Like there are a lot of people that speak about, like a lot of successful people you'll hear speak about consistency. Like there's this guy from Houston named Toby Nuigwe. He's a rapper, and he started rapping on beats and releasing them every Sunday. And then he started doing like videos for a new song every week, every Sunday, a new video, everything. So, and then he like blew up. Like he literally like went to the BET Awards. Like he just all the way blew up. And one of the things he said is like, talent is not necessarily what gets you anywhere. It's consistency. Like people value subconsciously and consciously consistency. So I think when you like for us, the people who are in the podcasting world already, for us to continue doing it at a certain standard and continue doing it consistently and being in people's faces about it, like doing projects like this, opening up our individual circles to the worlds that we are already privy to. I think that's what will eventually get podcasting culture the recognition it deserves in Trinidad or locally, is us making it. Like there's no other way for it to happen other than us creating the culture, because we are the culture.
Yeah, it's true. I like you said, consistency is such a big thing, you know, like when you watch Jar Nurse, right, you know, like so long he's just been making music and, you know, good music too, right? And then now he comes out with Fed Up, right? And Fed Up reached the point where it went beyond the Christian circles.
Yeah.
It began to play, which I think was his aim, but it began to play
everywhere. It's everywhere.
And now,
like I went to Court Optical the other day, and it was one of the girls' ringtones. Like,
yeah, and it's like, you see people, it's like an exposure to what was Isaac Blackman? Sealing, right?
Oh, Sealing,
like how people was listening to that and wasn't even conscious of the fact that it was a gospel song, you know? And I think, like you say, once there's quality content being consistently produced, at some point it will reach out there. And the next thing I was going to ask you, which completely slipped my mind as I begin to talk, was that what, I know that your podcast is about creatives, right? But like, if you had to listen to, if it was just a regular old trading, you know, and you wanted somebody's now trying to get into podcasting, what's something you think you would have liked to see in it that would have helped gotten your attention? Like if you think it was just your everyday Trinidad, you know, you think it would be something to wrap your attention?
Honestly, social commentary.
Right.
That's what Kamron would listen to. Like, but it has to be someone who's like, one, talking sense, and two, is engaging. Like I would listen to a young person talk, like not logically, but like strong. Like I want to hear like a strongly opinionated, informed young person talk about social issues. That's what I would listen to.
Okay, cool.
Just kind of what we're aiming for the second season, so look out, guys.
Alright, well, cool. Since you joined our close, you want to, plug yourself on your podcast?
Alright, guys. Well, you guys can follow me on Instagram. My name is Kamron.etc, and you can check out my podcast. It's Recess:(Creative Convos) on all your podcasting forums, and you can also follow us on Instagram at Recess Podcast.
Alright, guys. Thanks for joining us once again. It's been your boy John. This is part 2 of the 3-part series. Catch us next week for another one. You can follow us on Twitter and on Instagram at off_thebench_. Catch you guys next time. See you soon. Take it easy.
I consider all your people. Jump up with the people. Wave up with the people.